What's happening, everyone? It is Mike from the Hardcover Comic here today. We're going to be talking about Dark Knight's Metal. I recently picked this up in a haul. Really, that's what this is about. I was treated myself to some Dark Knight's Metal. We're going to talk about my buying plans. We're going to get hyped about death metal, and just look at the books, look at the incredible covers, and talk about the bind and how I would do things differently if I were you looking to bind Dark Knight's Metal without giving into impulse like myself. But we'll get there in a second. Let's dive in. Comic fans, before we get into things too much, please subscribe if you haven't already. We post videos daily, comic related, hardcover related, anything in that realm. Be sure to like the video as well. It helps us out a lot. And hit that notification bell when you do subscribe. We are sponsored by Dr. Squatch. It is a body-friendly soap with limited time scents. It's a subscription service. They will send you soap to your house. It is organic soap without all the crazy chemicals that regular soaps have. They do have limited time scents. This time it is the Irish cream and whiskey scent. It sounds awesome. Matt recently got the Bound Chicka Wow Wow one. I'm very excited to see what he smells like when I meet up with him at Planet Comic Con and get a little bit of that Dr. Squatch in my nose. Check the description down below, guys, for what you can get, how we can hook you up for some Dr. Squatch soap. All right, Dark Knight's Metal. I read this as it was coming out, but I did not physically read it because I wasn't collecting single issues at the time. I was doing more of the omnibus only route, but obviously I've branched off since then, and I treated myself. I treated myself, guys. I was feeling a bit down over the past couple weeks, and I needed a little bit of a pick me up, a little bit of a boost. And today I saw this lot in Canada, local, for the entire 26 issues, I think it is, of every tie-in that's essential for Dark Knight's Metal, starting from the Forge, ending with Batman Who Laughs, I think, or Metal number 6, whichever it may be, I forget. Again, just getting into this thing deep and heavy. I'm very excited because this is obviously going to turn into a custom bind. There are a few things that I'm apprehensive about moving forward with my bind just based off of the books, but we'll get into it. I'm going to go through all the covers in detail. Dark Knight's Metal, of course, is a story by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo doing the artwork for the main 6-issue miniseries. There's a whole bunch of tie-ins we'll talk about. Flip through, you can get a feel for the artwork. We were supposed to get a Dark Knight's Metal omnibus from DC that was announced a couple years ago, I think, by Scott Snyder, saying it was going to be a thing. Maybe it will come out after they finish off his Batman omnis. I'm not sure. We'll see. But this is a big part of the Batverse that Scott Snyder has started. Of course, I'm very excited to bind everything Scott Snyder has done with Batman, but for now, I'm very excited about this Dark Knight's Metal. Let's take a closer look at the books. Alrighty, starting off with the Forge and the casting. These were the prequel books before Dark Knight's Metal really even started. Scott Snyder, James Tynion, a whole bunch of artists: Jim Lee, John Romita Jr., Scott Williams inking. Kubert's in there as well. I like these issues; they're great. The only thing is with these issues, and then a couple other tie-ins too, that when they have all these different artists, multiple different artists and different art styles, I don't know. I don't know. It's just a big jump for me sometimes, because you've got Kubert, which is great for the most part. You've got Jim Lee, who obviously kills it, but then you just have to look at this John Romita Jr. stuff, and it's pretty damn brutal to look at. But either way, this set the stage for Dark Knight's Metal, the Forge, and the casting. Really cool titles as well, I must say. Again, I didn't pick these up as they were coming out, so I didn't know much about the actual covers themselves. I didn't realize that they were all going to be this kind of shiny thing, with the exception of some of these Teen Titans, Justice League issues. But I mean, the covers are great. It's really cool to get this holographic cover, but man, that cardstock is going to be tough to bind. It's going to prevent the book from laying flat. But at least, you know what, it'll be cool and different from the other binds that I've got. Taking a look at Greg Capullo's artwork here, what a talent. I mean, if there's ever a reason to have an oversized hardcover, it's because the artwork is fantastic. And of course, between Greg Capullo, Jim Lee, you get some Liam Sharp in there, you get some Francis Manipool, Tony Daniel, a whole list of fantastic artists. So, hopefully there is an official DC Metal Omnibus someday. I hope so. So there's the reading order here that DC has. This is not the reading order that I used. I will post a reading order that I have as well. There's like 5 or 6 reading orders online, but the one that I'm about to post was the most justified for me in terms of the appearances of different things within the storyline and how they relate to those other issues. There's not too many of these tie-ins. There's 8 in total of just regular ongoing series. The first one is this Gotham Resistance storyline, which crossed over between Teen Titans, Nightwing for parts 1 and 2. Getting into these, the one-shots for all these different, Dark Multiverse Batman. Again, really beautiful covers. I love them. It almost feels like, when I was a younger kid, I would collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and obviously the holographic ones were the ones you'd go after, and you'd, sometimes just look at them because they'd be so cool. It feels like these comics, in a way, they really flashed me back to those days when I was a younger boy, just collecting some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Taking a closer look at the Batman Red Death here, Carmine Di John Domenico. I think that's how you say his name. I've tried it a few times. I've practiced it a little bit. Working with Joshua Williamson on the Red Death. It looks great. It looks very, very, very exciting. High octane. So when it comes to my bind plans for this, of course, I'm going to try and squeeze all of this into one bind. It's going to be thick. I'm on the fence about it. One bind or two, I'm not sure. At this point, doing one bind with all these issues in it, it's going to be huge. The cardstock covers are going to make it tricky to read, but it would be really nice to have it all in one nice fat volume. And of course, with, we've got Dark Knight's Death Metal coming up very, very soon. I'm incredibly excited for that. That should be great. It's going to be the same general concept. You're going to have 6 issues for the main series, written by Scott Snyder, artwork by Greg Capullo, and then you're gonna get a whole bunch of tie-ins and one-shots along the way. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be the event of the summer for DC Comics, running alongside Empire from Marvel. So we're gonna do our best to follow along with both of those, put videos out for them, maybe follow them on a week-by-week basis, based on the releases. So here you see, the last part of the Gotham Resistance, the last 2 parts, Suicide Squad and Green Arrow. Stepan Sage artwork there, fantastic, really beautiful stuff. Batman the Man, this Batman the Merciless cover is so awesome. Jason Fabok, I think, was doing the artwork for all these one-shots. Dude is so talented, but he didn't do a single issue of interior artwork. Greg Capullo's covers, of course, are also stunning. Can't hate on that, man. That's really cool. Really, really cool. I mean, most of the covers in Dark Knight's Metal were amazing. I just want to, take a closer look at the Merciless here. This was Frank Thierry, Francis Manipool. Honestly, I don't know if Francis Manipool's awesome. It just his style and his colors just seem a little light for the book at hand. But yeah, I've been thrilled looking at these books. We get Bats Out of Hell starting, which is the second tie-in, little mini series going through Flash, Justice League, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, and Justice League as well. So if you guys are interested in death metal, you want to get into the new event that's coming from DC Comics, the things you need to know, basically the lead up until the story, and I don't think it's going to be, I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully it's not critical reading, but the build up to the story has been, in part, Justice League by Scott Snyder, And then also Year of the Villain, which has been tying into a whole bunch of different characters. Batman and Superman by Joshua Williamson. We've also seen the Batman Who Laughs in that series. We're now getting Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, being written by James Tynion IV, which is pretty much the most, I guess, most critical prequel to Dark Knight's Death Metal, because you get to see what the Batman Who Laughs is up to. One thing I really liked about Dark Knight's Metal is getting to see Hawkman again and him playing a bigger role in a DC storyline for once. Really excited about that Hawkman Found issue. I really just love these covers. It's so much fun to look at them. So much fun to look at them. Taking me back to my elementary school days and middle school days, man. Damn. It was interesting. When I was online looking at reading orders, there were about 5 different reading orders that I saw. Made it pretty confusing to decide which way I'm going to put it together. But there was, like I said, one that had a few justifications to it. I just decided, okay, I'll stick with that one. They're getting really into the details with what appeared when and how that flows with the story. If you guys disagree, let me know what your reading order was for Dark Knight's Metal. I'm really curious. I may rearrange mine still. I haven't submitted it yet for binding. And, I want to make sure I get it right. I want to make sure I enjoy it as much as possible. This Wild Hunt issue looks great. You get the Metal Man, Detective Chimp. It's written by Grant Morrison, and I remember reading this when it came out because it's Grant Morrison. And, he likes to use music at times, which makes sense because Dark Knight's Metal has sort of a music implication. But anyway, guys, that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Have you picked up Dark Knight's Metal? Do you have all the floppies? Are you waiting for that official Omnibus release? Or do you think you're going to ever bind your single issues into an Omnibus? Let me know down below in the comments. Be sure to also subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, it helps us out a lot. And turn on that notification bell. I do have one thing I want to give away to you all. If you've stuck around for now, up until this point, and that is some DC digital comic book codes. I don't know if these still work, folks, but I did see them. I'm going to post them right up here on the screen now. If you're the first one to find them, redeem them all. I forget what issues these are for. These are all Dark Knight's Metal issues, though. So enjoy. You just got yourself 3 free digital comics. Hopefully the codes still work. If they don't, I'm sorry. It's a free thing anyway, so don't complain. Thank you all very much for tuning in. This is Mike from the Hardcover Comic. You stay classy, Internet.